Hello, today I'm speaking with Pat Hayes, who is a senior sales account manager with the Syngas NORAM team. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Karen.
So, Pat, a question that we get asked fairly regularly is related to syngas plant startups and sulfur removal. Often hydrogen is not available during startup. Will the desulfurization or desulf section work at removing sulfur during startup without recycled hydrogen?
Yeah, so this is a great question, and you're right, we definitely get it asked on a pretty regular basis, especially when a plant is a little more isolated, doesn't have a sister plant or any other industry around that could provide that recycled hydrogen when they're not producing it. Assuming the desulfurization section is up to the minimum temperature, a few hours of operation without the hydrogen recycle is usually acceptable. Typically, your desulfurization section has your HDS, hydrodesulfurization catalyst, and a zinc oxide absorbent. The HDS catalyst is not going to be able to do any conversion of organic sulfur without hydrogen present, but your zinc oxide will still pick up any H2S that was coming into the feed. The two main points of concern, of course, when we have sulfur poisoning that's going to get through into the downstream parts of the plant are usually your primary reformer and your low temperature shift. And usually the startup time will be limited enough that poisoning is pretty minimal, especially in the reformer when you have a really high steam to gas ratio.
And the higher steam to gas ratio helps because it helps strip, the extra steam helps strip sulfur off of the reforming catalyst. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So it functions a little bit similarly to when we have a steaming process, which we can do to recover reforming catalyst that we know has been poisoned by sulfur. And also because the steam to gas ratio is high, that means your gas flow is pretty low, and you're able to actually not see that much gas and sulfur getting onto the catalyst anyway.
And what about low temperature shift, LTS catalyst?
Yeah, so the low temperature shift is a more sensitive catalyst to sulfur poisoning, but in addition to the short time frame relative to lifespan for a startup, plants can protect their low temperature shift from these unconverted organics that are making their way through the desulfurization section by venting the process gas upstream until everything else is ready, and then you get your low shift and everything else lined up just in time to poison it as minimally as possible. If there are going to be startups that have extra long durations for one reason or another, Clariant does have guidelines that we can use to evaluate the maximum durations and the impacts on the catalyst. Of course, we'd be happy to work with customers to recommend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pat, for coming on and helping me talk through this. This is something that a lot of plants encounter and deal with at all of their startups, and sometimes I think it's nice for people to know that they're not alone.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Pat. Have a great week.